We tend to focus on the minutia of things, which makes sense. When talking about a movie or entertainment company, it's easier to keep the focus right there. There's nothing wrong with that. These movies deserve to be ripped to shreds for how awful they are. But it doesn't seem like many people bother to take a few steps back and figure out why movies and TV shows, and hell, even commercials, have suddenly all started to suck, and all in what seems like the exact same ways. Shouldn't the why matter? I'm going to focus on Disney here since they own virtually everything of note at this point, but this is true for basically any large corporation today. We watch these movies and shows get produced and we keep seeing the same things. Wild race changes of both fictional and non-fictional characters, which always seem to go in one direction. Wild sex and sexuality changes, which again only seem to go in one direction. All of this breaks lore, it destroys canon, and when we fans point this out, we get met with two common excuses. The first is that what we're seeing is blind casting, which simply means casting directors ignore the race and sex traits of an established character and cast the best available actor. I mean, this is obviously horseshit, otherwise you wouldn't be getting race and sex swapped cartoon characters for fuck's sake. But it also makes no sense, because given how often traditionally white roles are now going to non-white actors, this would mean white people have simply forgotten how to act. The second is one I really love, which is just, well, why does it matter? Yeah, okay, but if these changes really didn't matter, then why change them in the first place? I mean, if they were so meaningless, why not just do the easier thing and cast actors that fit the roles as originally written or drawn? Yeah, they don't like that response. The answer, of course, is that these companies all have diversity, equity, and inclusion departments that have set up literal quotas that have to be met. It doesn't matter if you're casting an 18th century story set in the English countryside, the DEI quotas state you have to cast it as if you're in 2023 Manhattan or London. Story about Vikings? Who cares? Enjoy your idiotic diversity casting. A story about historical figures that we know for certain what they look like? Stop complaining, bigot. Think of these DEI departments as giant machines designed to force an outcome, because that's exactly what they are. These departments exist to combat what they call disparate impacts, which is just another way of saying any outcome that is unequal to whatever the demographics are of that area. Under this mindset, the only possible reason a disparate impact could exist is racism, or sexism, or transphobia, etc. It can't be any other reason, like, merit, for instance. Well, unless you're talking about professional sports. I mean, sure, the NBA is nearly 72% black, while black people only make up 13% of the American population, creating a disparate impact. But that's different. The NFL is roughly 56% black, 25% white, but again, that's different. As a former athlete myself, I look at those numbers and chalk it up to those organizations simply being meritocracies. The very best rise to the top and they excel. And in this case, activists would agree because the numbers work out favorably. On the other hand, Major League Baseball is only about 6% black, creating a bad disparate impact that can only be due to racism again. You see the game, right? So this is the software that runs the machine. It doesn't matter what you put into it. The only product that can be shat out of the other end is a DEI-approved result that removes any perceived disparate impacts, even if it means destroying established stories or characters or history for that matter. Sure, the machine is helmed by activists which have been hired to do just that, but the machine created can only pump out what it's doing. There's no mystery here. It's working flawlessly. Stop acting stunned when you see the casting of a Disney classic animated movie that makes no sense. It's not being done to make sense or to make you happy. It's being done to meet a quota, and the machine ensures that it will. So you may be thinking, but baby, I get the idea of the machine, but why make the machine in the first place? Why continue to do these things which are running off customers and longtime fans? Well, hypothetical questioner, that is a good question, but it's a longer, more in-depth topic that involves investment banking, environmental, social, and governance, and corporate equality index scores and the like. We'll get there, don't worry. It's worth noting in a recent poll produced by Axios in which it showed the Walt Disney Company continues to fall in what they call reputational quotient and was the 5th most polarizing brand in the survey. In fact, barely 54% of respondents consider Disney to be a family-oriented brand. Walt Disney.
So my name's Nick. I'm one of Fairy Godmother's apprentices. I'm here to shop you around and make all your selections for the day.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
Keep those numbers in mind the next time someone tries to gaslight you into thinking the only people that think Disney has lost the thread are complainers on social media or YouTube. For now, just try and remember when you see the next absolutely bonkers casting of a Marvel character, or a Star Wars story that makes no sense, or when you're planning to see that new Indiana Jones movie, or the next time a Disney classic animated movie releases a trailer which seems like the movie you remember in name only. None of this is accidental. They are shamelessly taking the things you love and force-feeding them through their DEI machine to produce these exact results. None of this is some casual attempt at diversity as some soft goal. It's cold and calculated and driven by an actual equation. It's up to you how you want to respond to this move, but I suggest at least being aware of this and stop allowing companies like Disney to act as if you're seeing things. Believe your own eyes and act accordingly. Or don't. I'm not the boss of you.